bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Today's America. This is Tofader Noor, Millennium News 24/7. We have our special guest, our network, good friends, George Ortega. He is climate and political activist. We are talking about today Eastern Europe and whole Europe, Russia, whole Middle East, East Asia, and North Africa, also some part of West Africa. Viewers, so many things going on in the world. United States, one of the powerful nations in this earth, alone cannot do everything. United States need a partner like China, India, Brazil, or Australia. We need a good partner. Then we can solve the world issue. I'm going to call our good guest and good friend George Ortega introduce himself. George, welcome to Millennium News 24.
Thank you, nice to be back. Yes, a basic introduction. I've been working in politics since '92. I've worked specifically on climate change, trying to raise the financing to finally fight it, to finally do something important about it. Most recently, I'm advancing a way to use our capitalist economic system, not just in this country, but throughout the world, to finance the needs that we need as a global public, rather than to further enrich the rich people who incidentally control our politics.
Very good. You know, George, these days in America, inside, we have a lot of issues. Ourselves, we have lot of issues. But still, we are the number one world leader in this earth, in this planet, United States of America. Inside, we have a problem with Supreme Court Justice, also Senate, Congress, and depends how we're going to solve these things. Do you have any idea?
Well, yeah, I mean, one problem just surfaced. You probably read about it yesterday and today. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, is involved in election tampering.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry?
I say, this is the one I try to bring it. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So she apparently tried to illegally overturn the results of this 2020 election. And there is a law that applies to Clarence Thomas because it is not likely that she did these things without his knowledge. So misprisioning, a felony of misprisonment is the crime, the charge. Basically, in the United States, if you know that a felony is being committed, and you don't alert the authorities, then you have committed a felony yourself, and that is what Clarence Thomas did. So we can expect that he will be removed from the Supreme Court and serve, I would say, at least 5 years in prison for conspiring with his wife to overturn our election.
George, Chief of Staff and ex-Georgia Senator McMurdo, Chief of Staff McMurdo and Ginny Thomas, they are taxing since January 5th to January 21, 31 times. Politico have all record, CNN have all records, and government have all records. So why government not start doing investigation?
Yeah, well, Nor, this is where we discover between now and November how trustworthy or how corrupt the Democrats are. Because yes, I mean, it goes far beyond Clarence Thomas's wife and Meadows. Trump should have been imprisoned, at least detained and charged the first day that Biden got into office. So I mean, we have to hope, we have to expect that what the Republican Party did to this country, but especially to these congressional Democrats in the Capitol that day, traumatizing them. We have to hope that the Democrats understand the seriousness of that and are ready to not just imprison Trump and Thomas, but to basically turn this assault on our American values and our American legal system completely on the Republican Party. That is what should happen. We will know how serious Democrats are about this as the year progresses, as we move into the summer and then into the fall.
Our justice department, justice system is not good for our nation. Whole of the world thinking America have a rule of justice. But inside, we know what we have. If you and me, we're going to do anything wrong, they're going to put us jail right the way. They're going to give us punishment right the way. Now, McMurdo and Ginny Thomas and so many others, still they're doing some kind of corruption, but they don't have any justice. God knows our investigation department, justice department, what they are doing. Another things, defense department have so many other department, that they making like arms, ammunition, all kind of like nuclear things and bomb makers. But somehow Mexican news media found the Russian agent, they try to destroy our nuclear site in New Mexico. This is the governmental issue. I don't want, whatever, if you know anything, you can say. Otherwise, we don't want to go into these things. Do you have any idea?
No, but I would guess, the Democrats as well as the Republicans, the people in power who really, we shouldn't identify them as Democrats and Republicans. We should identify them as the rich who control the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They like to intimidate the world. They benefit when the world is afraid. So this story about they're attacking our nuclear site and all, I wouldn't trust it. This is like in times like this, they want to stoke fear because they believe, and I think they really miscalculated this time. They generally believe that when people are afraid, then people aren't as willing or as eager to go on the offensive against these crimes, the insurrection, the Republican Party continuing to back Trump after he tried to overturn our election and take over our government. So yes, these other matters, and they will, and the other part is they want to distract. Anything that they think that will scare people, that they think will distract people from keeping our focus on the most important thing for our country now, that is imprisoning Trump and holding the Republican Party accountable. It's not going to work. They can try to distract us as much as we can, but we are focused, and we're going to make sure that the Democrats impose the justice that Trump and the Republicans deserve.
Another drama in Republican Congress. Dick Cheney's daughter, she was one of the leaders in the Republican Democratic caucus. You know that, huh? But they suspend her from the caucus. Why? She is doing investigation and impeach Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. So last few months we hear and Republican gonna be, revoke her from the party. But today, Politico and CNN and NPR, they said Republican and McCarthy, minority leader in Congress, they're gonna endorse Cheney. What kind of a drama going on?
Well, I think that, Liz Cheney has understood for months that the Republican Party has doubled down behind Trump. They're not contrite. They don't believe they've done anything wrong. So Liz Cheney's next step should be to, on her own, of her own will, leave that Republican Party, but not just her, because like any Republican, for example, who voted to impeach Trump, who voted to indict Trump, to hold him accountable, like in the two impeachments, and who is still in the party after this, they have to be really suspect. There needs to be a call for, people who pretend, who want the public to believe that they're good people. They need to understand that as long as they continue to back Trump and his insurrection, they have lost all of the moral ground. So in order to save their reputation, and history will not remember or will not forget what they've done, in order to save their legacy, it would be wise for them to begin leaving the Republican Party in droves. Because at this point, it doesn't seem like the Republican Party can be reformed.
That's right. George, stay with us. We are going to short break. Viewers, please stay with us. We are going to short break.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back again. Today's America. Millennium News 24/7. We're going to bring what is going on our United States and right now global village. George, our new justice, what is the call? Confirmation is going very tough. Republican leaders, they declare they don't want to give any vote. So, Democrat 50 vote and Vice President vote is going to be okay, or we need a 60 vote?
Yeah, I mean, the Republicans changed this themselves. So yes, we only need 50 votes to confirm. I mean, she is already in. Manchin's on board, so the Republicans can do nothing to stop her from being our next Supreme Court justice.
Republicans try to pull the cinema. That Arizona Senator cinema, but still she is on left and right. God knows what she's going to do. So probably she's going to be on Democrat board, hopefully. But also another thing, buyback plan, the Congress and Senate. Congress already passed, but Senate not yet. But this bill is coming short time, within couple of days. But all Democrat is together for this bill. But Republican, only 2 senators is on this bill. One is our ex-presidential candidate Mitt Romney, and Rhode Island senator, I forget her name, she is. So we have 52 and vice president. So I don't know, is going to be okay, or we need a 67 vote or 60 vote.
Well, yeah, for most, unless it's reconciliation, which I don't think it is, yes, 60 votes are required. So I think going from now through next January, we shouldn't be so very optimistic about various bills, getting passed, various, progressive bills. That's just the nature of the circumstances today. If the Democrats have not become so corrupt that they allow Trump to go free, if the Democrats have become not so corrupt that they refuse to hold the Republican Party accountable for January 6th and continuing to support Trump, if the Democrats do the right thing and basically essentially trounce the Republican Party this November in the elections, then yes, then we will have more than enough senators and representatives to pass a very strong progressive agenda, the kinds of bills that should have been passed years ago to protect the environment, to reduce poverty, to educate children better. So yes, for now, the makeup of the Congress, especially the Senate, is such that we cannot expect to pass major legislation of a certain kind that the Republicans traditionally oppose. But again, come January, if the Democrats do the right thing, and if they don't, we don't have a country. So, it's not like they have much of a choice. If and when they do the right thing of prosecuting Trump, imprisoning him, and going after the entire Republican Party for continuing to back this traitor, this treasoner, then come January 2023, we can expect much, much progress in legislation across the board.
You are right. Yesterday in Brussels, our president is there, Joe Biden, and all NATO leaders, G7 leaders is there, and all European leaders is there. They are all is one voice. Russia have to be stop this violence. Otherwise, they're going to be have a more embargo. They have a more financial collapse. But Russia reply, Russian Today wrote, they do not care whatever America, European leader and G7 said. Russia going to do Russian job. Russia have a nuclear. Russia going to be used now nuclear. Think about it. What is our European alliance and America going to do? If they're going to use the nuclear, they already use the nuclear, supersonic missile in Ukraine. George?
If Putin were to launch a nuclear attack, that would be the end of him, his life. He would no longer be alive. That would also be the end of the entirety of Russia. Again, we have to remember the United States military is stronger than every other country combined. So no, this talk of nuclear war is a bluff. It's not believable because Putin would have no way to win that kind of war.
Also, so many refugees still is coming from Ukraine. So many people dying, so many houses, everything is destroyed. It's like a Syrian cities, Syrian countries like Aleppo, this we cannot imagine. But few weeks ago, our leaders, all leaders in Glasgow, they committed they're going to be having 2022 $10 billion their account. But right now, over $50 billion they are investing for this fight, Russia, Ukraine, and making the strong in eastern part of NATO. So they don't pay any penny the climate account, but they are destroying like a games. They play the games with people's lives, Ukraine and Russia. What do you think?
Well, that's why we keep coming back to the point that it's really not about the United States or Russia or the Democrats or Republicans. It's really about the rich. Because yes, the rich don't want to finance the fight against climate change. They don't have anything to gain by that. But they have a lot to gain by arming, the Ukrainians, by extending this war, by selling munitions. And so again, like the number one enemy of this world, of every country in the world, are the rich people who are controlling it, the rich people who decide what Putin and what our government does. We need to focus on this to solve the world's problems. As long as we allow the rich to continue with their money to control our politics, then the entire world is in danger. I believe that we're waking up to this reality that we've been ignoring for decades because we have no choice anymore. It's not like the rich are sacrificing the future of our children, of their children with climate change. They're now endangering democracies all over the world. So we need to understand, the foundation, why these countries, why Russia is acting the way it is, why our politicians aren't doing as much as we need to do, not just to fight them, but to fight Trump and the insurrectionists.
Other things, all European leaders, their voice is one for China. They're talking about China have to be stop their part in supplying all kind of goods emanation to Russia. If they do not stop, China gonna get their prize. So European Union, NATO, Canada, America, Australia, all is surviving. All kind of goods coming from China. So how are we going to stop these things?
Yeah, well, China is so important a part of our economy that, if we, for example, stop trade with China or just like severely limit it, then we pay the price. The rich here in the United States don't pay the price.
Exactly.
They actually make money. I'm sorry?
Now go ahead.
Yes, so basically, we have to understand that we may need to do this without China. If China and Russia, have this economy with themselves and perhaps a few other countries, it's probably not enough to sustain Russia. Because again, the embargo, the sanctions are targeted not at China, but at Russia. And so the faster it gets done. Biden just recently extended the sanctions to the politicians, to the Russian politicians who are obviously behind Putin in this invasion. And that's the thing to do. And again, considering Biden's reluctance to negligence in prosecuting Trump, you have to wonder if how much can be done that he's not doing. How much of these sanctions could possibly be imposed, but for political reasons, basically, because he's catering to the rich, he's not. So basically, we need to step up the sanctions on the people most responsible, on the rich people who started this war and who are prolonging it for two reasons: to make money and to attempt to protect Trump from prosecution for January 6th.
Southeast Asian and Asian, so many news media, also Chinese news media, criticize our president. The Joe Biden eyes is going to be Third World War start. He make the Third World War. If it's Trump in the power, no one thinking about it, is war is coming. So look like we have a lot of against opposition people in the worldwide. Also last night, our night, and I don't know what time is the Poland time, our president visited one of the army camp in Poland by border area from the Ukraine, probably 15-20 miles away from the Ukrainian border. So he visited, and everyone that time, probably their lunch time or dinner time, I do not know, they're eating the steak. And President just laughing and saying, we never thinking we're going to be eating steak Ukrainian border. And this is so much highlighting these days America One, Max News, Newsmax, and Fox, from this morning. So how are we going to stop these things, man? We have to be ourselves. We have to know what we are talking about. George?
Yeah, and you started, Noor, with mentioning Biden's weakness. He is not behaving like a strong leader. And if you want to know one of the causes of Russia invading Ukraine, that's exactly one of the causes. In other words, like Putin understood that if Biden is too fearful, too cowardly, too weak to imprison Trump to defend our own democracy, the signal that Biden is too weak to defend Ukraine. So Biden's becoming, the way Biden shows his strength is first through the economic sanctions on Russia to protect the Ukrainian people, to end that war. But that's just the beginning. If Biden wants to show the world that he is strong, that he can be trusted to defend democracy, to defend rule of law, he must not just indict and imprison Trump, but the dozens, perhaps, of people, including Clarence Thomas, who aided and abetted his attempts, his treasonous attempts to overturn our government. So Biden must absolutely show strength, because Russia's invasion of the Ukraine is what happens when Biden listens to the rich rather than doing what he should be doing.
You are right. One other things, so many years in Russian oligarch, they used to be hanging in Germany, Britain, France, Spain, Austria. Now they are all is Turkey, by Ankara, by the Turkish coast or ocean. Turkey also part of European Union. How they give this kind of safe haven for Russian oligarch and Russian business leaders?
Yeah, Noor, and perhaps the more important question is what pressure can be exerted on Turkey to hold them responsible? Because Turkey certainly has its allies, but basically, just because it's part of a certain kind of coalition doesn't mean that it has license to do whatever it wants. So yes, in certain cases, in order to prosecute, the people responsible, but considering the state of the world now, I think it's much more important to focus on ending the war. To hold them responsible financially as much as possible. Basically go to their accounts, block their accounts and all. But while that needs to be done, we really need to focus on the major problem, which is ending this war and our own domestic, fear, the possibility that we lose our democracy because Biden Republicans are unwilling to protect us as they should. So yes, Turkey's a problem. Granting safe haven is a problem, but it's one of many problems, in the world today that can only be solved if Biden shows the strength against Trump, against the insurrectionists, against the people who plotted on January 6th, and also against the Republican Party that continues to support him. If Biden does not do that, then we cannot expect progress on any of these fronts. If Biden is courageous enough, smart enough, lawful enough, moral enough to do this, then yes, we can eventually go after those oligarchs and do whatever we need to do to ensure that going forward, our world is much more safe and fair and not under the control of these oligarchs who really do not care about this world.
You are right, George. Stay with us. We're going to go short break. Viewers, we are going to short break. Please stay with us.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Viewers, we are back again. Today is America, Millennium News 24/7. We have our network friends and our specialist guest, Mr. George Ortega. George, United States have a lot of mineral, gas, oil. Why we have to be, like get oil from Saudi Arabia or Arab Emirat and Middle East? We have enough in whole state of Alaska and Hawaii and and also Texas and Louisiana, so many states. We have a lot of gas, thousands years gonna be stay. It's not going to be finished. So why we are carry on these things? We have to bring the gas and oil from Middle East and Russia. What is the issue, man?
We don't have to. I mean, like basically today, renewable, the sustainable sources like wind power and solar power are generally competitive with fossil fuels. Basically fossil fuels are given certain economic advantages, and to the extent that we do this with wind power and solar power, yes, we will, because we have enough natural gas, so obviously, we should be independent, but we need to go further than that. In other words, like if we end up using that natural gas, the oil that we have that doesn't rely on the Middle East, then that's not good enough, because that's not good enough relative to what we need to do for climate change. So our hope is that now that the Republican Party has shown the world who they are, that they can't be trusted with anything, including our democracy, come January 2023, then the Democrats should have enough people in Congress to pass the legislation to basically scale up our solar and our wind power, our renewables, and also, to whatever extent it's politically advantageous to get our gas and oil from our own resources. That would be helpful politically, but again, that's not the answer. The answer is really to just powerfully shift to renewables, because that's the way. I mean, and one other point, Trump is an existential risk to our democracy, but this whole insurrection, what our country is going through, pales in comparison with the threat of climate change to the entire world. So we need to yes, politically just keep just have our own resources, but we need to do much more than that. We need to basically, and this is like a three-step process. We need to imprison Trump, to then hold the Republicans accountable for continuing to support him, to then vote the Republicans out of power, and then we will be able to do what we need to do to secure our energy and to protect our climate.
You know, George, you are right. But one thing our leaders, Democrat, Republican, and our national security and police, army, whatever we are, we love our democracy. You can see how all we came together to stop the violence January 6. Russia cannot do anything. Russia tried to so many times cyber attack. China, Russia, and North Korea, they try so many times. They're making millions of dollars cryptocurrency. North Korea, also Russia, you know that. So, you know, they try to destroy our democracy, but they can't. They fail. Whatever they try to do, play with America, no more. Those days is gone. Trump is not coming back anymore his life. Whatever dream he do is wrong. What do you think?
I absolutely, and I think that with Putin, I think it's not enough to just expect that we will end this war with Ukraine. I think what we can expect is that Russia has simply gone too far, and the sanctions will be in effect far beyond that until Russia understands the need to not interfere with others' elections. Now, having said that, my knowledge of politics, it's not like we don't try to do the same thing with Russian and Chinese politics also. I mean, it's covert, people don't talk about it, but we attempt to influence the elections of other countries. So in order to have this moral high ground against Russia and create a world where no country does that, and it's essentially the rich within the countries that are doing this, then we need to reform our own system so that we're not interfering with the elections of others, with the politics of others. And I'm optimistic. I'm very confident because the alternative is unthinkable. The alternative is we let Trump go, we let the Republicans off the hook for continuing to support him, we lose our democracy, and that works for no one, including the rich.
Russia, China, and some other dictators, they try hard to destroy American democracy. American democracy, our founder father, they make it. And day by day, it came strong and stronger. Multicultural, multi-nation people came over here and make the life better. But America is one kind of jeopardy. They thinking they can use any color, any race, and they can destroy American democracy and American way to live life. No way. They can't. Whatever the Putin thinking or Xi Jinping thinking or Modi thinking is wrong. Whatever they are right now, China thinking, Chinese, advisor, they are talking about Russia is burden for them. They never thinking he's going to be attack Ukraine. Now, they are in limbo. They don't know what they're going to do. George?
Yeah, well, just like Trump overreached fatally with invading the Capitol on January 6th, yes, Russia fatally overreached with Ukraine. And so in terms of our democracy, it's interesting because I think we've only had a democracy during a short period of our American history. That was like after the Great Depression when FDR took office. He raised taxes on the rich. The Democrats, I believe, who were really for the people back then. They were for the people who were hurt by the Depression. They won 40 Senate seats in 3 election cycles between 1932 and 1936. So that was an era where we had a true democracy, the way it was intended, or the way, the way it should be. And so it's been eroded since then. And now with Trump and the Republican Party as corrupt as they've become, I think we understand how important it is to not continue to allow the rich to run our politics. We now understand that if we're going to prevent, future insurrections, future attempts by countries to govern us by controlling our elections, we must get the money out of politics. Once we get the money out of politics, once we disempower the rich and make this country the democracy that it should and can be, then the world will listen, and that may be enough, because a functioning democracy where the money not controlling this country, we could do so much good for the entire world that may put a great deal of pressure on Jinping in China, on the dictatorships of the world, to show them, yes, democracy is the better system, is the more trustworthy system. So I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic because what Biden has before him is the choice of not prosecuting Trump and ending our democracy, losing our democracy, or prosecuting Trump and the Republicans and greatly strengthening our democracy. So because I don't think he has an alternative that's viable to this, I think he will ultimately do the right thing and imprison Trump, hold the Republicans accountable, and then, it's still unclear whether he's good enough, courageous, honest enough to get the money out of the politics, but that's the next fight. Once we don't have to worry about the Republicans in Congress having the strength to do anything, that's when we put the pressure on the Democratic Party. You want to represent this country, you want to represent the world, get the money that is controlling you out of politics. Disallow that.
You are 100% right, man. We have to do that. Other thing, Al Jazeera, Face TV, CGTV, and CCTV, and CAN. So many English news network is right now in worldwide. Singapore, they have one called CNA, and they are truthful news network. They are not making any news for wrong news. Right now, some kind of association, if you know, is called OIC, Islamic Association Club. They have 67 countries in the world. Right now, they are gathering in Islamabad, Pakistan, and they do not. 67 countries. They never support the war. Also, they never support United States. They are supporting Russia. And on the meeting, I saw Chinese foreign minister. China is not a Muslim country, but they have a Muslim province. They have a Muslim province. What they did, you know that. So what is the Chinese foreign minister doing in the OIC meeting?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a global, I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Noor, if we take a global perspective, we've been talking about how corrupt our American government is, how it's run by the rich, how we're endangering the future with climate change. So this group of Islamists, in a certain sense, is basically attempting to fight the problem, to solve the problem, because what options do we have when we can't trust the United States? So it's a difficult kind of a dilemma for them. I'm sure they would like to side themselves with the United States more, but while money controls our politics, while money controls our politicians, they know that their interests are not going to be, important to our American politicians. So again, in order to maintain, to strengthen the peace that we won after World War II, to basically make this world better, not just for Americans, but for the Middle East, for everywhere in the world, we need to show these Islamic organizations, the people of the world, that we can be trusted, that we can be trusted to lead the world morally, so that they don't have to choose between us and backing Russia anymore. We need to show them that we are worthy of their trust.
You are exactly right. Saudi Kingdom and Emirati Kingdom, they are blaming American politics, American leaders. America make world corrupt and crazy. America fight for everything. They make people disaster in the world, so many countries. That's why no one like to come American way, American road or avenue. Whatever America say, they are talking about disregard. We don't want it. So, Emirati, they don't know how to get the oil from the ocean. United States engineer, United States government, they invest everything, they did everything for Emirati. Same thing, 1930s, our president, that time is Roosevelt, or I forget, probably Roosevelt, or FDR. They are signing the contract with Saudi Arabia, 200 years to supply oil to America. The Saudian Kingdom, they forget, they sign up United States for 200 years. They have to sell the oil, cheap price, American business or American government. Reason? They invest millions of dollars, American government, to Saudian, ocean or river to make the oil industry. American investor invest the money. So Saudian Kingdom forget those things, So hopefully our government and they're going to be understood if they did anything wrong with worldwide. We did some wrong, but we have to watch ourselves what we are doing. George, go ahead, last word. Our time almost end.
Yeah, basically, the Saudi oil deal, it's all about, the rich in the world don't just control America, they control the entire world. We need to fix that. We're in a point of world history where we must fix that.
That's right. Thank you, George. Viewers, our time is almost end for today. We are talking about our American democracy, American politics, American economy, also what is going on East Europe, Ukraine, Russia, NATO, European Union, China, European Union, also Islamic world. Viewers, we're going to bring all kind of news, views, talk show, everything, our iOS and Android device, round the clock, round the time. Also all smart TVs like Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, Roku Stick, also Apple TV. We are also all social network Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, our YouTube channel, news channel M24, our website millenniumnews24.com and millenniumtv24.com. Viewers, our colleague, friends, broadcaster, engineer, reporter, newscaster, presenter, camera person, IT, working round the clock for you. News, views, talk show, all kind of program. Please watch Millennium News 24. And we are honor and respect our friends and colleagues for their hard work. Viewers, whatever you are, stay, peace, love, and happiness. Goodbye and take care for today.